Hi, welcome to Program Pride. My name is Lenore Lemay.
And I'm Todd James. This is our April show. Today on the show, Michael Leboldus will be reporting on hate crimes within our communities.
And Veitch will be here. He's a man from Calgary who is a survivor of a gay bashing there. And Nancy Miller and Susan Burrows-Johnson will be speaking to our correspondent about anti-homophobia work that they're doing in Calgary.
And Sue was a busy girl this month. She also interviewed Suzanne Westehoeffer, and Suzanne talks about what it's like to be an openly lesbian comedian and how she confronts homophobia on a day-to-day basis. And I guess first off, we're off to Michael.
On May 15, 1996, a gay bashing incident occurred at the only gay and lesbian friendly bar here in Red Deer, Alberta. 4 individuals went into the bar, proceeded to write obscenities and references to faggots on the walls of the bathroom. As the bar owner was being told of this, the 4 individuals left the bar, tipping over a table and breaking a plate glass exit door. A fight ensued between one patron of the bar and the 4 individuals, but was quickly brought under control by the owner of the bar when he discharged a fire extinguisher into the crowd. The police were called and shortly thereafter arrested the 4 individuals across the street from the bar. One young offender has already been found guilty, given 2 years probation, a $200 fine, and a large quantity of community service hours. The other 3 individuals, all adults, will appear in court on April the 7th, 1997. It brings up 3 issues that we must address. The first is the sentencing. One young offender has been found guilty, given 2 years probation, a $200 fine, and numerous hours of community service. The 3 individuals are adults who will be appearing in court on April the 7th, 1997. If these individuals are found guilty, will the judge implement the sentencing guidelines given by the federal government in Bill C-41? These guidelines provide for stronger sentences to be given to individuals who commit crimes based on hate. The other issue that we must face is the internalized homophobia in the gay community of Red Deer. Whenever the media has focused any attention on the gay bar in the past, certain patrons of the bar have refused to go there for a certain period of time. This is causing a tremendous economic hardship for the owner of the bar. While he experienced some economic hardship by the gay bashing incident, he is suffering more economic hardship by the members of our community who refuse to patronize the bar out of fear of some attention being focused upon them by going to the bar. The third issue that we must face is the Delwyn-Vriend case and how it relates to this incident. The Alberta government, by continuing to fight against equal protection for gays and lesbians in the province of Alberta, is creating a climate of hostility and intolerance in our community. We must rally together behind this case and make sure that our rights are protected within this province. This is Michael Leboldus reporting for Program Pride in Red Deer, Alberta.
Let's see, where to begin. The date was probably April 16th, 1996. I was bored at home, wondering what I should do, and my partner was out at a meeting or playing bingo or something like that. And I hadn't been driven my car for quite a while, so I figured it was a nice night, and I thought I'd go for a drive. It was about 9 o'clock when I went out, and drove around the city quite a bit and all over, and it was about 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night, and I drove down to the zoo, the Calgary Zoo, and there's a parking lot there. I drove into that parking lot, and it was, as soon as I drove in, I had this eerie feeling, because the lot usually is full with a lot of other cars and stuff and people around, and it was just empty. And as I got down to the end of the parking lot, there was about 4, 5, maybe 6 people coming off a trail out of the bushes, and I just knew they were up to no good as soon as I saw them, and I figured I better get the heck out of here. And that's when I noticed one of the people picked up, like, I believe it was a rock, and as far as I can remember, he threw it at my car, and it either came through the windshield or hit the windshield and the mirror came off or something. That in turn hit me in the head, causing me to smash into a tree, totaling my car. Then the very next thing I remember, the window of my car, the side window, was gone, like just it wasn't there anymore, and there were people pounding the hell out of my head and just beating and smashing and hitting me, you know, like for no reason. I had no idea what the heck was going on. I remember this one guy, somebody in the background saying, "Get him out of the car, unlock the door, get him out of the car." And there was somebody's hand comes in through the broken window and was trying to undo the lock, and I remember hitting his hand so he couldn't get at me or to get me out of the car. So that didn't work, and they were pulling my body. Thankfully, my seatbelt was still on, and they were trying to pull me out of the car, which the seatbelt held me in, so they weren't able to get me out of the car. And I remember looking at one point up, and there was one guy sitting on the hood of my car, pounding on the windshield with a big, huge rock, just pounding away at it. And he was, I believe, a native Indian gentleman. And the beatings just kept happening, and they kept hitting and kicking my head. And I'm blind in my left eye to begin with, and I turned once to look to see what was going on, and I remember seeing one person pointing it at the side of my head, at my temples, and then a big boot coming in and kicking it right in my head. And it just went on, and the beating until to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. And I reached down and I grabbed my club. It was for locking the steering wheel. It was on the passenger side of the car on the floor. And I remember taking just one part of it. I took it apart and took one part of it, and I knew I just had to protect myself. And at that point, I went to get out of the car, and I remember I couldn't get out because the seatbelt was on, and I had to undo that. And the next thing I remember is chasing. Like I heard someone say, "He's got a club," and they all started to run. And I ran after them, and I remember swinging and hitting someone in the side of the head with the club. And then that was the last thing I remember before I fell down. Like I just had lost all my energy and hit the ground. And then at some point they came back or whatever and took my club and used it on my head and pounded my head severely to the point where I completely lost consciousness. And then at that point, I don't know how long it was before I regained consciousness. It was obviously before the police or ambulance arrived. And I remember crawling back to the car so I could get my stereo so that no one would steal it. And when the police or ambulance people arrived and everything, I was still semi-conscious and was trying to tell them what happened and what was going on and all this. And they, you know, as far as I know, treated it perfectly fine up to that point. And the next thing I remember is the ambulance ride, which just felt like I was going to die because every bump they hit, I could feel it in my head, and the pain. And then they took me to the Foothills Hospital, and at which point they basically went to work on me. And from my friend's recount of everything, they came in and they couldn't even recognize me. My head was so huge, and my neck was so swollen that you couldn't even tell the difference between my neck and my head. It was just one big, huge, swollen mass. And they had broken my right arm with the club, which we didn't find out till the next day. But as for injuries, it was all head injuries and neck injuries. And I was in the hospital for about a week, or 3-4 days, or 2 weeks or something. And after that, when I was released, the police, we tried to contact them several times and just were very unsuccessful at getting anywhere with them. And the insurance company, they were really, really good. They came out and they took my statement, and they completely paid for my car, which was good because it was still in brand new condition because I never drove it. And it was about July, beginning of July, I called up the police department to find out what's going on. I haven't heard anything because apparently the insurance company said that there was a witness to this beating, and that the police, you know, had 2 witnesses basically, one that called the police to let them know what the hell was going on in the first place about the beating, and then another one that just sat back in some bushes or something and watched the whole thing. So anyways, I called up the police, and I finally got the case number, file number, and then the the officer's name. And when he finally got back to me the next day, he said that they were at a complete standstill, that there were no witnesses, and when I asked him if he'd like to get a copy of my statement for their file, he said, no, just hold on to it. We don't need it. So basically, we're still, to this day, waiting for the police to get my statement.
My guests are Nancy Miller from the Calgary Lesbian and Gay Political Action Guild, it's a mouthful, and Susan Burrows-Johnson, Executive Director of the Calgary Birth Control Association. Welcome. Now, you two have joined forces for the Diversity Education Project. Can you tell me about that?
Sure. The Diversity Education Project is a United Way funded partnership between CLAGPAG, Calgary Lesbian Gay Political Action Guild, and the Calgary Birth Control Association, CBCA. And the goal is to do anti-homophobia training within United Way agencies. The secondary goal is to train people to do this anti-homophobia training. So even when the project is completed, we will have a pool of volunteers who are trained to do anti-homophobia training and can go out to agencies or businesses or whoever is requiring this kind of training.
Wonderful. Now that's, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and then after we can deliver that training, what we hope to do is increase the quality of service available to lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirited individuals in Calgary by drawing to the attention of the agency that they have to provide service to all Calgarians and to attend to things that might be heterosexist in their organization and increase the service to gay and lesbian individuals.
Now, this is in United Way agencies. How many agencies are we talking about?
Well, United Way has 155 funded programs, so there's a number of programs that serve Calgarians that we hope to be able to access and assist the agency in improving service.
That would have a huge impact right across the city.
Well, it's only a one-year-long program, so I don't think we're going to get to every agency, but we'll try to reach as many as possible. And I think it's important to remember that these agencies may also have gay, lesbian, or bisexual employees or volunteers. So ultimately, we hope it's a safer place, more comfortable place for those people to work or to volunteer, as well as being able to provide better service.
Now, this project is United Way funded. How did that all come about?
Well, it's a rare thing. We've only heard of a couple of other cases in Canada where the United Way is funding projects that are specifically oriented towards gay and lesbian issues. But originally, we were approached by the United Way a few years ago to put in a funding proposal. They've been doing what they call Future Ways initiative, which is trying to overcome barriers for marginalized people within the agencies. So I guess at some point they realized that gays and lesbians and bisexuals are a marginalized group, and they needed to look at those issues too. So there were the United Way sort of convinced us to put in a project or a proposal, but at the same time the Calgary Lesbian and Gay Political Action Guild was approached by the Elizabeth Fry Society and the YWCA to put in a funding proposal. Those two mainstream organizations felt that they were dealing with a lot of lesbians, providing services for a lot of lesbians, and had volunteers and staff members who were also lesbian or gay, and that they needed to train their staff and their volunteers in these issues so they could provide better service. So we actually hooked up with the Lesbian Information Line and the Of Color Collective. So it ended up being a partnership of 5 different groups. And we put in a proposal, and it took, from the beginning, our first meetings, to when we were finally approved, 18 months. And now it's my understanding that the United Way had to go through their own process and had to do some of their own sort of inward-looking and...
Sure, it was groundbreaking.
Yeah, it was groundbreaking, and I understand, and it's kind of unique in that when the Calgary Birth Control Association originally applied for funding many years ago, the United Way did the same sort of thing. So it's kind of funny that we're now have ended up as partners.
Partners, yeah.
But the United Way did their own internal work and finally decided, yes, this is an appropriate thing for us to fund, and they funded the project, and we did it for a year, and it was a very successful project. Difficult at times because we'd never done anything like this before, and we didn't really have anything to measure it by or anything to copy, so we were really making things up as we went. And so when that project was completed, the United Way encouraged us to again apply for funding to build on the work that we had already done. And so we met with the Calgary Birth Control Association and discussed the possibility of us working together, because CBCA already does some anti-homophobia, anti-heterosexism work within the work they're already doing. So we felt it was a good match. We put in a proposal, and amazingly enough, we were treated like every other application and received approval within 3 months.
Wonderful. Well, it seems like a natural fit then, the two of you. So the funding includes a funded position or somebody to coordinate the training. Can you tell me about that?
We have a part-time position. It's been filled by a woman named Juliana, and the person will be working 3 days a week for the year and participating and working with, we hope, a large number of volunteers. We're looking towards a group of at least 10 trained volunteers by the end of the project, who can provide information and support and facilitation so people can understand barriers we put in the way of individuals receiving service from our agencies.
The training, so you need to recruit people to train initially, who then will go out and give workshops. How long is the training, how long does it take, the training itself?
It's undecided at this point, since we're in the development phase of the project, although I'm not sure how long the last project was before it was up and running, trained.
Well, it was a bit harder with that project because we weren't quite as clear as what we were doing. I think we're really clear this time. So I imagine that we'll probably start training volunteers within a couple of months. I'm sure we will.
Wonderful. So if people want to volunteer, they can contact the Calgary Birth Control Association and get involved. They can ask for Juliana.
That's right.
And we'll get the numbers up on the screen.
283-5580.
There you go.
That's right.
And it's a wonderful project. I wish you all the luck and success, and it will make a difference in the community. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thanks.
Go ahead. Whatever you're ready.
I think she said start. I thought she was talking to Suzanne to start filming, so you're filming.
Actually, we're rolling.
Okay.
Okay, so
We're wasting film. Money,
That's
fine. Okay. My guest is Suzanne Westehoeffer, famous lesbian comedian. Welcome.
Oh my God, my first time in Calgary.
Well, welcome. We're happy to have you here. Now, you're the first. I do need
Oh,
it.
okay.
We're thrilled.
Yeah,
All
sure.
300 of us.
Oh, I know. There's so much people out there.
Exactly.
I'm gonna have to do a show. Hope I have something to say. I'll do some original poetry. They love that.
Now, you're the first lesbian to have her own HBO special.
True. HBO.
HBO. That's how we say it here in Canada.
Don't you know? Sure, don't you know?
You appeared at the Improv, Carolyn's Comedy Hour, Comic Relief. Basically, you stand up in front of straight audiences and say, "Hi, I'm a lesbian." Like, are you crazy?
No, it's so much fun. You know what the amazing thing is? I'm not even gay. It is strictly a career move. I feel like this will help me move along my career a lot quicker, so. Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be icky? Ew. Kidding. Yeah. Straight people. Fun. Don't want teaching the kids. Okay. Yeah, I do. No, you know, that's what I started out doing in New York City, and if you start out in New York City, it sort of takes a little bit of the scariness out of it, because New York audience is scary no matter what.
Exactly.
They don't really care if you're queer or not.
Yeah.
They're pretty much like, make me laugh, I just got mugged. You know what I mean? And so if you cut your teeth in an area like New York City, then pretty much anything else is not going to be too frightening. Although I was frightened the first time I was in Texas doing gay comedy.
Right.
Belt buckle of the Bible belt. You
But
know.
I read that went quite well for
It
you.
was fabulous, I
Yeah.
know. But every night I thought, oh, this is the time when some big bubba's going to stand up.
Yeah.
Oh, now listen, no less, boom, you know. But it never happened. They really had a great time. They were
wonderful.
shocked. Oh my God, it was so much. For the first 5 minutes, I would be up there, just be this. You could hear like worms shedding their skin. was so quiet when I said I was a lesbian.
Yeah.
And it'd take them like about 3 to 5 minutes. And then they'd kind of chill and start laughing and go with it.
Well, there's something about your comedy, something about your act that straight people can relate to. Like, everybody can relate.
It's funny.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
the
don't
best
know.
thing about your comedy.
Yeah. I'm going to go with that. Oh, it's my hair. It's the blonde hair.
Yeah.
Blondes get everything. Except they're on TV shows. Sorry. Okay, I'm working on it.
Well, I want to talk about that, though. You are in LA, and you're auditioning for movies and television,
get my own TV show.
and trying to get your own TV show going. How is that coming along?
It's very difficult, but we're doing it. You know, what can I tell you? Until it's actually signed and they film a pilot, there's no point in talking about it.
Right.
Because you don't know what will happen. I've had some things that we were cast, we were ready to go, and they just disappeared. There's nothing you can do about it. Someone pulls out. Whoever you were working with at the agency is now gone because they quit or got fired or went to another job, and now you have nobody. What I am doing right now, though, that's pretty fun, is Showtime, which is like HBO in the States, which is pay for movies and has original programming, together with the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Company. I thought you would know. They are going to do the first ever all-gay sketch comedy show, like Saturday Night Live, to premiere a special in summer, and if it goes well and people like it, then to do 13 episodes. And you guys will get it here, because
excellent.
it's part of Canadian Broadcasting that they're doing it. In fact, it was one of the gentlemen who runs the Montreal Comedy Festival was his brainchild. A straight guy.
Amazing.
Whatever.
So you will be on that show as well?
There's a cast. There's like 5 comedians, 5 openly gay comics from Canada, and 5 openly gay comics from the States.
And what's
Joined in a loving way to heal the rift between Canada and the United States.
Yay! Well, comedy works wonders, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys actually, you have a little bit of a, Canada has a very fabulous comedic reputation. You have Second City, Toronto, and the Montreal Comedy.
Right.
So it's a good thing. So obviously you're cutting edge again. You're going to do the first gay thing. So.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be in it. I can try to get an accent if that in any way will help.
No, we like your accent just the way it is.
Okay. I like when people here say, I came out to my mom. I came out. What? Stop that. Open your mouth.
Now, let's go back to television.
I was watching it.
What about Ellen?
Well, she's
Ellen
coming
Morgan.
out on the 30th.
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey's going to be her
Therapist,
psychiatrist. And they say Laura Dern's going to play her girlfriend. I haven't heard that yet. And that Katie Lang and Melissa are going to make like cameo guest appearance. I mean, it's going to be pretty much every lesbian you can think of. Not that I'm saying Oprah's gay. I'm just saying, let's face it, she hasn't gotten married yet. Okay? Wouldn't that be funny? And then she calls and she says, "Has you outed me?" Oh, I think it's great. I'm very excited. You know, all right, I have a little Tanya Harding moment about it. You know, it's like I wanted to be the first one, but you know, well, good for her. No, I mean it.
Any chance you might play a love interest on her show?
Could you get a little letter campaign right up? But it's certainly what I want to do. Actually, I want to be on the show very badly, and I talked to her on the phone about a month ago, and she's totally open to my getting on the show. But I mean, they're going to do big names. They're going to stunt cast, because they don't know how yet the public's going to react. And obviously, the public's going to react a lot better if her girlfriends can be played by like, you know, famous television and movie stars. It'll be kind of like a chick thing to do, you know what I mean? A fun thing, so.
Absolutely.
So it goes on, yeah.
Your own TV show, back to that, you will be playing a lesbian.
If it's my show, I'll be playing a lesbian. If I just get a guest spot on another show to get experience, I'll be whatever they tell me to be.
Yeah. Well, good luck with your show. Thank you for taking
you.
time with us. We're going to have fun tonight.
Do you go to Edmonton tomorrow with me?
Sure.
You can watch the Fish Channel.
Is there such a thing?
Have you seen that up in Edmonton? It's just an aquarium and they play MTV music behind it. And it's an aquarium for like 24 hours. I'm not making that up. No, it's Edmonton. It's the Fish Channel. I think it has another name, but I call it the Fish. I can hardly wait to get back to see the Fish Channel. Yeah.
Well, we know what
Look at the fish. I love this song.
Thank you. Come back to Calgary
I imagine I will.
Okay.
Probably next year.
So Suzanne did come to Edmonton and she was great, but she was very disappointed because there was no Fish Channel.
Yeah. For those of you who may not be aware, the Fish Channel is one of the things that Videotron used to show. They used to show a close-up photo of a fish swimming back and forth. And she did make a joke in the concert about what about if the fish died on camera and no one was watching, and then it would be like floating belly up and stuff. So we all laughed at that, and she was really, it was a strong performance.
Yes.
It was sold out, I do believe, in a larger venue than last year. And she actually, at the end of the concert, she came back on because everyone was clapping, and she talked about how important it is to come out, and every time you come out, you confront homophobia.
And you act as a role model, and you increase visibility, and so, yeah, she was really strong in that message.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated that.
Oh, I appreciate it. You know, you look at people who are so out as her, and I think it's just incredible. Like Leah, I really admire his courage and bravery to share his story with us.
And it's amazing, I mean, bashing is bashing regardless of what community it happens to, or it happens in, or who it happens to, and it's something that, I mean, I feel really outraged about, and that we need to keep making visible. And so if you've been bashed, it's important that you call the police and let them know, and you tell people, and you get support. And it's also important that as a community, we support and work with the police liaison committee so that we can increase their awareness.
Yeah, and I think it's also really important that if you know someone that has been bashed, whether they're gay, straight, or whatever they are, because anyone can be bashed, and it's important to offer support and encouragement and ensure that they get to tell their story, because that's how things change.
Right. And remember, Pride Week is coming up in May, so watch us, and we'll be having a bunch of events for you, and take part in it.
Yeah, it's our next show. Thanks for watching.
See ya.
Gay.
Lesbian.
Bisexual.
Transgender.
Gay.
Lesbian.
Bisexual.
Transgender.